And welcome to a special podcast edition of the Bingo is Life podcast. Downtown at the historic Wine Brothers building, sponsored by Ruby's Arcade and Clementine Cafe.
Thanks.
I am Jay Zara, the third best ex-Mennonite stand-up comedian, etc., etc. In the Shenandoah Valley, joined by the fabulous Howdy Shell brothers. And Brittany Janine. Mom Shackles.
Jacob Heimer-Schmidt.
Jacob Heimer-Schmidt. Known by a few other names in France.
Her name was my name, too.
We have a quiz tonight.
Yes.
Yay.
Love the quiz. What's the topic of this quiz, Jay?
Well, this is going to be very specifically about the history of Harrisonburg businesses and restaurants and nightlife and musicians and things. And it's a very large topic, believe it or not.
No,
Really?
I believe it.
Big town.
Believe
Big
it or
town.
not,
Got so much culture.
it really does.
Yeah.
Deep.
I based a lot of this on a long historical interview that Bobby Driver gave that's on YouTube about
Sweet.
the Elbow Room.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
So we're going to
Nice.
talk about the Elbow Room a lot.
Oh, cool.
So are you? Oh, okay.
Is Bonnie Raitt mentioned at all in this quiz?
Bonnie Raitt? Well, no, but do you want to talk about Bonnie Raitt?
Well, I mean, I like Bonnie Raitt. She was at the Elbow Room.
She was at the Elbow Room.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay,
So
so
she-
we have two of the parts of Clue. We're almost there. What was the weapon?
The weapon was her Laurel Canyon rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Blues, I guess, more really. But anyways.
Actually, and when she didn't officially play there, she was at another concert and she showed up and jammed with.
Oh, nice. Okay.
At
Good.
the-
See
at the Elbow
details.
Room.
That's good.
So,
All right, what you got for us?
Okay, let's start. Let's go. This is the first one is very easy.
Okay.
There are three businesses here on Water Street. 50 West Water Street, beyond the Fusion restaurant. 20 West Water Street, the Midtown Market.
Wait a minute, the Fusion restaurant makes it sound like they actually do fusion there.
Fusion.
Not like the opposite of fission. Fusion.
Okay.
It's fusion cuisine, I believe.
Their food is the bomb.
70 West Market Street
Yes.
is the Cuban Burger.
Yes.
Now, all you have to collectively do is place these three former businesses in those specific locations.
Oh,
There is
Someone's very excited.
Joe's, which is a very famous bar. There is Spanky's,
Spanky's, yeah.
and the Sanitary Lunch.
okay. So I know
Spanky's was
one.
and beyond.
Oh, that's the
I,
one I
I
knew.
worked at Spanky's for a week, 3 days of a week.
What?
It was a terrible experience.
It was at the very end of life.
I was
yeah.
at the very end.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They had a bad reputation for
There's
some time.
yeah,
At the
stories we can't
very
tell on
end.
air.
The very end was bad.
Yeah.
And okay, so we have Spanky's was at 50 West Water Street beyond. Then we still have the Sanitary Lunch and Joe's.
All right, the Sanitary Lunch, I think that would be where Cuban Burger was.
What do you think, Mike?
I agree.
I'm guessing
And
Midtown.
X takes the square.
Sanitary Lunch was at 20 West Water Street, where Midtown Market is.
Oh.
Joe's was in the Cuban
It's so
Burger.
sanitary.
Joe's?
It's so sanitary in there.
Man.
In fact, you know, I would. There was a real estate office in there for a long time before I moved the record store in there, and they said that from time to time, little old men would wander in and ask for somebody to make them a hamburger.
I want a sanitary sandwich.
They'd walk in, and it would be a real estate office, and they were still. Sounds like something I'm going to be doing here in a few years,
Right.
or maybe now.
We're all here for it.
So
Did you ever eat at George's?
Yes, and it was insane. It was I don't know why I ate it, because it was right at the end when it was really like you'd go in there and have to wake the guy up.
Right, yeah.
Well, you want food?
Actually, yeah.
Did you ever eat at George's?
Well, I walked in there and didn't wake the guy up. I was scared.
I walked in there, and I don't think, and they were not selling anything. It was like, but I think
Eddie's Broken Spoke used to be on that street. That was also a very scary
Wow, okay.
enterprise.
What type of food did Joe's sell?
That was a bar, so they
Okay,
just
it was
had
a bar.
bar food. It
Okay,
was like they had
okay.
a famous open mic there, and
Really? Oh, that's cool.
bands, and it was a real
And
hangout.
do you know what years we're talking about? What
Well, it was there in
decades?
84,
80.
83, 84, and then they
Joe's.
wound up closing down, as do most bars eventually.
except Finnegan's. Finnegan's
Finnegan's has lived there for a long time.
that has lived.
No, I remember when it was Awful Arthur's before it was.
Oh, that's way back.
Yeah, I actually knew the
good.
guy who was doing the construction, and we went in there and help tear it down. It was fun.
Whoa.
All right, let's keep rolling here, kids.
All right, bring it.
Okay, this is I'm going to be describing a band, a famous band from Harrisonburg,
famous
and I'm going to
band
give you
from-
Illiterate Light.
See if you can pick it.
I think I bet.
Their self-titled debut LP on Arista Records was recorded at A&M Studios in 1976 and released in '77. Produced by Ken Scott, who also worked with the Mahavishnu Orchestra, David Bowie, and Supertramp. They toured throughout 1977, opening for Hot Tuna, Renaissance, and Foreigner, among others. Their second album and last album for Arista Records was called Crafty Hands. It had only one track with vocals called Wind Up Doll Wind.
Well, it sounds.
And they used guitars made by a then little-known luthier named Paul Reed Smith.
What?
Okay, does anybody know?
Chris is buzzed in here. He
think
he says he knows this.
Wait, I think is it Animal Logic?
That's what I was gonna say.
If we got to the point where I had to give you three choices, Animal Logic was one of the choices. The other two choices are
311,
Hybrid Ice, and Happy the Man.
Oh, Happy the Man.
Happy the Man.
Happy
is the
the
answer.
Man. Yeah. The Happy the Man's a Harrisonburg band.
It's a Harrisonburg band. They started at JMU.
Yeah.
Cliff Fortney was a member of them. He's still around, and they actually were extremely successful.
Yeah, no,
really
that sounds
progressive.
like we
band.
can find him on Spotify now. You think?
I
Happy
don't know.
the
They're hard to find, but maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hybrid Ice is actually a real band that
Hybrid
played
Ice.
at a place called Scotland Yard. Does that ring anybody?
In Harrisonburg, there's a place called Scotland Yard.
Well, let that just ruin my question. Yeah. So this won't be a question. There was a place called Scotland Yard. It was a warehouse in the north end of town, and they had all kinds of like crazy big Black Oak, Arkansas, and Kicks, and Hybrid Ice would play there. They were like a
Cool.
Pink Floyd kind of band.
What?
Yeah.
Harrisonburg sounds so cool.
Yeah, I was born too late.
Oh.
Now, having ruined that question, we're going to talk about Gatsby's. Does that ring a bell for anybody?
No.
Gatsby's.
Oh,
Not
yes.
the pizza place.
Yeah.
It was Getty's.
That was Getty's. That was,
Mr. Getty's.
There was a well-known bar. It was a dance bar called Gatsby's.
Okay.
When the Elbow Room, which we will talk about, started to get closed down by the fire marshal for being too overcrowded, they opened up the other place in the spot where Gatsby's was in that building. Do either of you know? And that then turned into the Mystic Den. Can anyone tell me where that location is now?
That's where the jail is.
The jail, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It was a famous place. That's where the Harrisonburg Animal Logic.
Yes.
Well, let me skip. I got
Wow.
it.
Very good.
I'll skip ahead to this. Animal Logic became
Yeah.
Party Akimbo. They had to change their name because a more famous musician started another band with that name and paid them off to use it. So who was that musician?
I know.
You do know the answer.
I do.
You know it?
Yeah.
Then you have to.
Yeah,
wait.
I'll hold on.
Marty Ballin from Jefferson Airplane. Stuart Copeland of the Police. Tony Tennille from the Captain and Tennille. You know the answer.
I think it was. Well, I think it was Stuart Copeland.
Stuart Copeland.
Yeah.
And Stanley Clark. Well, we're leaving Brittany totally out of
No,
the.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm buckled in.
Stuart Copeland. Yeah, for some reason I actually thought the answer was going to be Sting.
Yeah.
Okay, there were three movie theaters on Main Street on this block on the other side of where we're sitting here.
Okay. 3 of them.
There were 3. There was everyone know the Virginia Theater.
The Virginia Theater, yeah.
And that was torn down to be a parking lot.
Yay.
The other
It's
two.
a great parking lot.
Oh, man, I know.
The other two.
One of the best.
They'll boot you real quick.
The other two were the. Hold on a second here. Oh, holy smokes! I didn't write it down in my mind. It's going up.
Was one the state?
The state, yes, the state. Do you know what happened to the state?
It burned?
It burned down. It was on the other side of the street in the vicinity of the library. And on this side of the street, there was one called holy crap.
Oh, what a great name.
Holy crap.
Holy crap. We love that
Also a
place.
parking lot.
There was a theater.
Then it was Dave's Taverna.
What building was the other theater in that was on the other side of the street?
Would that be where the art gallery is now?
Or
Oh, yeah, it's got to be there. Yeah,
or
that's
is it
got-
Jimmy Madison's? No,
No, that's
no.
It was in the Clementine building.
Oh,
There was a movie
yes,
theater
the
in there, and Jay's Air cannot remember the name of it. But we do have a quiz. It opened on March 10th in 1934. Here are the choices of the 3 movies that opened. That were the movie that was playing. Okay.
Ooh,
In 1934.
1934. Johnny Weissmuller and Marina Sullivan in Tarzan and His Mate. George O'Brien and Claire Trevor in The Last Trail, or Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers in The Gay Divorcee.
What?
Those are the 3 movies that one of those debuted.
I
at
thought
The
it
middle
was-
one.
I thought
The
it was gonna be
Strand. The
Bambi.
Strand was the name of that theater.
Oh, the Strand.
Yeah.
The Strand.
Yeah.
Cool.
So which of those 3 was the first movie to?
I mean, they're all just top notch.
Top notch.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Tarzan now.
Yeah, I like Tarzan too. It's
Solid.
Just fun.
It was The Last Trail. It was a western. It was actually a year old at that point.
Yeah, because westerns and Smokey and the Bandit would just play here forever.
I think they said that Smokey and the Bandit played for over a year at the Virginia Theater.
Yeah, I heard that. Or 2 years, like, it stuck around.
So you're telling me at the same time we had one called the Virginian, and then we had the State.
The State.
Yeah.
Virginia.
The State.
The State.
And then I think it was the Strand. And this
All right,
don't anybody
Virginia,
trust
The
frickin'
State.
So maybe it wasn't the Strand. Maybe it was called the Commonwealth. Just to tie it all together.
It was definitely a movie theater.
The Old Dominion?
You know what's interesting? Do you guys remember where? So like I think like Glow Fiber is there now, but that building used to have a big pencil.
The stationary.
Stationary.
Yeah,
Right.
and I loved that as a kid.
They should
I
have
was-
left
I was
that
like-
pencil up there.
I was like, oh, the pencil! It was a landmark for me.
Why'd they
as a
take that
kid.
pencil? They should
I
have
don't
left
know.
it there.
The pencil could have stayed.
Service
Maybe-
stationery.
Yeah.
Service. It was a stationery store.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find out where that pencil
Going to talk about Fairfield Language Technologies, which
Ooh.
then became the Rosetta Stone, named after the software they manufactured.
Hey, and they were
Oh.
right here.
That's right.
That was the question.
Oh shoot!
You win. No, actually,
No, they were here for a bit. When we came in and
Yes.
tore this place up, they did all this crazy stuff
Right.
on the floor to prevent static electricity because they were running all these crazy computers and stuff.
well, let's change the question on the fly. Where were they before they were in this building?
Ooh, good question.
When Jay's Air worked there,
Oh, and
Oh, man, let's see.
1800 and
1879.
Let's see.
With the actual Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone. Yeah.
carved it in there himself.
What is this, Sumerian? I got this.
Hold on.
You want the 2 choices?
Yeah, yeah,
The 2
yeah.
choices are the Kiesel Building or the old Woolworths building on Court Square.
Woolworths.
Ah, yes, Woolworths.
The Kiesel Building.
Oh,
Woolworths
Guys are
was
going
gone
great.
by then.
yeah.
Oh, it was gone.
By
It
the
was
way,
Clement- it was
somebody
Calhoun.
when I had the record store, I met a woman. I wish I had written this down, but she was an old timer and she had run the record department at Woolworths. She said 2 years in a row, that Woolworths sold more 45s
Right,
than any
right.
Woolworths in the country.
What?
Yeah.
And like back in the day.
I just
Oh, that's awesome.
watched a documentary on Tower Records, and they mentioned that their competitors had all begun as like Woolworths and pharmacies because everybody started selling records because they just went really fast. They
Right.
sold really fast.
Yeah.
All right,
So
now
cool.
we're going to talk about 95 South Main Street. Now it is the Texas Inn.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It has
And that-
a whole bunch of places that used
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah.
What was the name of the either vegan or vegetarian restaurant that was in that place briefly?
14 carats.
Was it 14 or 21?
Oh,
14.
I thought it was 14.
Okay, let's see. Let's skip.
Oh, did I ruin your question?
That's
Damn
fine.
it.
We don't talk about ruined questions. It's like a ruined orgasm. We don't talk. Or maybe the other Mike would talk about that.
Previously on Newest Life.
No, I think
Ruined my
the
orgasm.
reason I know the answer. My wife worked there for several months. She had 2 customers in the entire several months.
Well, can we come up with any names of any other places that I?
Oh yeah. I got
Yeah.
one.
Go ahead.
Was it Coochie Guido?
Guido.
Luigi's, Dave's Taverna.
Luigi's, Dave's, Gus's.
The Corner
The Corner.
and Sabor, Mexico.
That was a good one.
And that's
That was
probably-
really nice.
That's
Yeah.
probably not all of them.
Yeah, and that's this year.
It's a weird. It's like, what's going on with that building?
Well,
was it
did
built
you see
on-
the big mural in the back of it now?
Isn't it gorgeous?
It is actually
There's
gorgeous.
a lot of murals going up now.
Yeah.
It's
You know.
awesome.
You know why?
No.
Because the Arts Council of the Valley is giving out grants and stuff.
Yeah,
Got
it's
a whole
working.
program. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's
So
working.
we're going to talk about the Elbow Room here.
Yes,
All
the
right,
elbow
bring it.
room.
Which had a lot of famous people come in there from the Southern rocks or blues and rock and roll.
So currently the Elbow Room is called.
Currently, the Elbow Room is 121 South Main Street, Jimmy Madison.
Jimmy
Ah,
Madison.
okay, very good.
And they leveled the floor.
Did they really?
Yeah, you don't step up to the stage anymore. You don't. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I mean,
It's all
I haven't
level
been-
now.
I haven't really been in there.
Levels, Jerry. It's
here-
all about levels.
In November of 1979, an artist played at the Elbow Room, and there was a review in the Breeze, which is the student paper.
Yes.
There was a double feature that's famous artists and a band no one ever heard of. And,
Okay.
here's what the article said in the paper. He, talking about the band,
Yeah.
his very tired or very bored attitude carried over to the other band members and eventually out to the audience. The Cobras, on the other hand, came to play. Were they talking about
Cobras. Wow.
Elvis Costello and the Attractions, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, or Southside Johnny and the Asbury Dukes?
I'm gonna say Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I'm gonna say, what was the first one you said?
Elvis Costello and the
Elvis
Attractions.
Costello. I'm gonna say Elvis Costello.
It was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, who was the most famous act to play there. They played Elbow Room, and then they played the other place over where the jail is as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
And Bobby Driver in the interview was saying that had a completely different opinion. He said that changed his life. That from the very first note that Stevie Ray Vaughan played,
Right,
he was
right.
like, "Oh my God, this
Yeah.
guy is
I found
absolutely
it.
amazing." And they both had gotten a tattoo at the same tattoo parlor in Austin.
Right?
Was it the
I-
same tattoo?
John
That's legit.
Prine also played at the Elbow Room.
Now that is
Speculation.
speculation.
That's what I've heard.
That is okay.
I've heard that by multiple people. Though.
I'm going to. That is a question I was going to get to, but let's just go into it.
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay. What according to Bobby Driver, John Prine actually was living in Harrisonburg
What?
in the Shank Apartments, and I don't know where exactly that was. He had come here for some unknown reason.
Wait a minute. This just in.
John Prine.
And-
John Prine used to live in Harrisonburg.
We
What?
need to build something in his honor.
But hey, Bob.
I mean, we
Bob
got
doesn't.
monuments galore.
I
Why
know.
not?
We need a monument.
Bob doesn't know. Do you know who Eddie Adcock and
Yes.
and Martha?
Yes, Martha and Eddie, yes.
John Prine was living in Harrisonburg for some mysterious, sordid reason, holed up in Harrisonburg. The story was that he came down to the Elbow Room to see Martha and Eddie Adcock play, but some people say that he played for 45 minutes, but according to Martha, they had quit playing by the time he got there, and they were too tired to get back up, and he did not play. So that's up in the air.
Ooh,
Interesting.
There are witnesses who saw Bonnie Raitt play, but there
Yeah,
are no
right.
witnesses who saw John Prine play.
So no one confirms that John Prine played here. No one will confirm.
According, it was interesting when he was talking about the Elbow Room. He was saying it's everyone's best memory from the '70s, and no one remembers. He said he was trying to research this. He would talk.
Yeah,
he couldn't
right,
find. Nobody
right.
could remember anything. Nobody had
Yes.
their facts straight.
Turns out there was a gas leak in that building the whole time.
Martha
Everyone was
and-
hallucinating.
And Eddie Adcock would play at the Grill.
Right.
I mean, there was a regular gig for them at the Grill.
Yeah.
Early, like when Ron owned it. Certainly earlier when Bob Driver owned it as well. But I remember working there, and it was like, oh, Martha. He always drew a huge crowd.
And he was a great sound person. He would come in there and fiddle through things, and he had this awesome sound that was the best sound
Yeah.
you ever heard. But he apparently the blues circuit back then, they called it Boston to Austin, was where they would tour.
I like the way that sounds.
And
It's cool.
every
Boston,
time Eddie Adcock would play the Little Grill, he would say that back in the day, all the musicians on the circuit called Harrisonburg Little Austin because of the vibe that they got in this town.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which, and then maybe he said that everywhere he went. Yeah.
That's how he wins the crowd.
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah.
You are Little Austin.
Yeah.
Hello, Harrisonburg. Oh, we're in Harrisonburg, right? So it's Harrisonburg.
I call this Little Austin.
Little Austin. We're in Boston.
All
He
right,
just called everything that because he couldn't remember the names.
Yeah, right.
here we go.
Do you have any questions about jokers in there?
Well, I do.
Is jokers in there? Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Smokers or midnight tokers. You're taking.
Let's skip ahead to the
I know. I
Joker's
just wondered.
questions.
Oh yeah, we're close. So let's go one more question.
That's one more question.
Yeah.
Jokers.
It doesn't have to be the Joker's question.
Oh man, this is great.
This
Jay,
is-
Jay,
yeah.
you've really worked.
Jokers was at 181 North Main Street. It is now Golden Pony.
That's right.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, this was a bigger question, and there was 153 South Main Street, which is Clementine, and 121 South Main Street, which is Jimmy Madison's. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's see. Can you name the other businesses that were at the
With the Joker's building.
With the Joker's building.
The Ethiopian restaurant.
Blue Nile.
Blue
Oh,
Nile.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
it.
That's all I got. Golden Pony.
Well, it was a Mexican restaurant first.
There was a place. It was a Greek restaurant there called the Famous Restaurant, and there was also a bar there called Valentino's.
Valentino's.
Now,
Yeah, okay.
which famous musician from Virginia played there in the early '90s as a solo act, and which bar?
At Valentino's?
Well, which one did he play at?
Oh, which one did he play at?
He played at Joker's.
Who are you talking about?
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews.
Yes.
According to the internet, he actually played at both of them.
Oh, is that right?
91 and 92. Well, my anecdote on that was I was handling the tickets for Corin Capshaw, who was his manager at the time.
Okay.
And I was picking up tickets at Joker's or Valentino's, whichever it
Yeah.
was. And there was this white guy chunking away on the guitar, and 15 people in there.
Right, right.
And I forget who it was. He was some acquaintance who was just totally drunk. Like, Jay, this guy is going to be great. Dave Matthews. It's going to be. I was like, yeah, get out of here.
Sure.
But he was right. He was absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did Dave Matthews ever come down and play at the Grill?
Not that, to my knowledge. Well, we could say he did.
Well, no,
Nobody remembers.
the funny thing is
years.
I have I don't know. I don't
know.
It's funny because
I mean, his big scene was in Charlottesville at Trax,
yeah,
right?
Trax was his.
that was his-
He landed. Boy, Trax was cool too.
Yeah, that was a good place.
And that place does no longer exist.
Is that right? It's gone?
I don't think so.
That was the same place. Okay. One last question.
All right, one last question.
The fabulous historic Wine Brothers building
Hey, that's a good tie-in with our sponsor.
had many famous bars here. The IN was a competitor to the Elbow Room. They also had Martin's Garage, which is a little bit before my time.
And
It was up
1700s.
in the 1700s. In the 70s, they had a disco here.
Nice.
Late 70s. What was the name of the disco? Boogie Wonderland, the Pinnacle Lounge, or Studio 77?
So the one with the lounge.
The Pinnacle Lounge.
Yeah,
that was the name of it.
Yeah, Pinnacle.
And you could get mixed drinks in there. That
The
but I
Pinnacle
couldn't get
Pass.
in.
The
Oh, I got you.
When I was an
Go
Eastern
down to
Mennonite.
Studio 77, buddy.
All right, we'll call it. We'll call
It's
it.
Little Austin in Harrisonburg. Hey, thank you,
Thank
Jay.
you for the quiz. That's awesome.
All right, and that does it for another episode
really
of
does,
Bingo is
yeah.
Life.
Yay!
Live from the pickleball complex in front of the Wine Brothers building. See you every week at Tuesday at 7:30 for Bingo is Life live in person, and Bingo is Life, the post Bingo podcast, whenever you want in cyberspace. See you next time.
Later.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.